The M20 conference is currently taking place in Johannesburg. In fact, today was day one of the two-day conference that is all aligned to the G20. For more on this, let's now cross to our reporter Khayelihle Khumalo, who is live for us in Melrose Arch. Khaya, thank you so much for your time. Good afternoon to you. Give us a sense of, what is happening there now. We know, of course, that the minister earlier on addressed delegates at the start of the M20.
Well, undoubtedly, Nat, it's been a very riveting session here at the Melrose Arch in the north of Johannesburg. A lot of challenges really facing the newsrooms, especially from the continental point of view, where you're talking about the shrinking resources, but also hearing from the testimonies from other parts of the world, from Brazil, so many countries as well, especially under the G20. We know that it's quite a very important time for South Africa. It is one of the very key events, but it's a very independent initiative led by the South African National Editors Forum alongside the Media Monitoring Africa and many other sponsors, many other key stakeholders as well. And it's been really interesting, Unati, really just hearing about issues around the media, the model when it comes to funding in terms of the viability, especially now, Unati, where there is a proliferation of disinformation, the role of artificial intelligence, and really how can the media tap into this repository and use it for good. But really to hear now a perspective from East Africa, we do have Zubeda Kanano, a very seasoned journalist all the way from Nairobi. Zubeda, welcome to SABC News.
Thank you very much. I'm truly humbled. I'm not used to being being on this other side of the microphone, but it always feels strange. But I'm humbled to be here. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Lovely. Zubeda, let's talk about the challenges in Kenya. I mean, we're just talking off air about the Gen Z, how they took to the street, and how, for example, the digital platforms were flooded with so much information, really just showing how the landscape is ever evolving in terms of how the media is working.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a very timely conversation, because even hearing from the conversations that have taken place since morning, it feels like in Kenya, the challenges that we are facing are not unique to us, because right now we are talking about fake news, social media harassment, online GBV against women, and then the issue of media sustainability. We've seen very many journalists lose their jobs, being declared redundant every now and then. Like a few weeks ago, we lost so many of our journalists, like literally a whole newsroom was sent home because of the issue of media sustainability, and also media threats, safety and security of journalists. During the protests that you've alluded to, we've seen journalists being targeted. There's one of our journalists who was shot at close range by police while covering the protest back home, and it always keeps us awake, because we are trying to look at it and figure out what possible solutions we can bring to the table. We've tried to engage the government, we've engaged different authorities, we've engaged the police, but still, whenever there are protests, journalists are looking over their shoulder to see whether they are safe or not, who is targeting them, be it the police, be it the goons, most of them hired goons, So it's been really tough for us. Being a journalist back home is really, and for us who are in leadership, you hardly sleep, because you're receiving calls every now and then, people asking you, like, what are we supposed to do? I, for example, have been targeted online, not once, not twice, because of being vocal, because of calling out the government. I remember there's a day I was in the newsroom getting ready for the bulletin, and then I see thousands of calls coming through, and I didn't know what was happening, only for me to realize that my phone number had been shared online. To date, I don't know who did it, but it's
And how are you coping under these circumstances, Zubeda, especially because M20, it's all about creating as well solidarity among the media practitioners, especially in a very challenging environment where the issues of financing and many others are really at the fore here.
Yeah, and what we've learned over this period is that you cannot do it on your own. Yes, Zubeda is being targeted, but when we see Zubeda being targeted, is that it's a targeted attack against the sector, not you as an individual, because even those who are doing it, they are doing it to silence answers, for us not to engage, for us not to call out the government. What we are doing is collaborating with different other sectors. Like in Kenya, we have what we call Kenya Media Sector Working Group that has about 26 media associations. So every time something happens, we come out as a team, not just individual associations, because we know we cannot win that war individually. And I'm happy that we are having those conversations here because we will have a collaborated way of approaching this current threat that we are facing, possible solutions. And I hope and I pray that after this conference, we are going to implement some of these threats against media, because even when engaging those students who are currently in academic institutions, sometimes they ask, bearing in mind the challenges that we are facing, is there a future for media? Is there a future for legacy media? Do we still continue with the course or not? So when we sit down as leaders like this, engage, share our experiences and come up with common solutions to the challenges that we're facing, I'm sure we're going to conquer. Even when we talk about AI and emerging tech, this is a new phenomenon to all of us. And that's why even earlier I was mentioning that we need to decolonialize technology so that we don't wait for other people to come up with AI solutions for us as Africa. Why can't we sit down and come up with our own solutions, bearing in mind the challenges that we are facing? Because I know we are capable of coming with tangible solutions for the challenges that we're facing as Africa. And I'm so excited that this took place now. It's very timely, and we are going to share our experiences. And then after the conference, and I'm happy that the CS Soli, said that he's going to present the communique to the G20, and I hope the leaders will prioritize media. Because back home, the Constitution has given so much power to media, press freedom, under Articles 33, 34, 35 of the Constitution of Kenya, where we're given the freedom of press, freedom of access to information, freedom of expression. But sometimes we see the violators of that article or those articles are the leaders. So we hope that they're going to commit to protecting media, because the free press shows clearly that environment is free for all. It's a democratic society, and that's what we are pushing for. So together we are going to walk out of this conference with a communique that we're going to commit to implement. It doesn't matter where you're from, because the threats are the same. So we are going to come out of here with a commitment to implementing some of the solutions that we're going to get. And I'm happy that we've gotten a lot of support from the government of South Africa through the CS of ICT, who was committed to take that, present that communique. So we are going to hold him to account as well.
All right, Zubeida, thank you so much for your time. Of course, one of the delegates here, one of the very key members here, all the way from East Africa, in Kenya to be precise, Unati. So quite a lot of issues really being ventilated here. So it's going to culminate through a declaration, a Johannesburg M20 declaration that will go to the G20 leaders. That was a commitment that was made by Minister Soli Malatsi, responsible for communications and digital technologies right in South Africa.